What is your name, your band, and what position are you running for?
My name is Lewis Johnson, but my great aunt, that's my grandma's sister, always said put the J in there. So every time I do a signature or officially, it's Lewis J. Johnson. I'm of the Tallahassee Band and of the Bird Clan, and I'm running for the chief, or what most people will consider the principal chief.
Where did you grow up, and tell us a little bit about your family?
I actually was born and raised in Wewoka. I was born at the old Wewoka Hospital. That is where the Civic Center is located now. And I resided north of town on our family's allotment for a good 12 years before we moved to town. So I went to all my secondary education. I went to Wewoka. But my family has had a tradition of service to the Seminole Nation over many years, even going back into the 1800s, back when Johnny Chupko was the chief of the Seminoles, as well as John Jumper. So we have a legacy, what we would consider a tradition of service within our family. I've served on tribal council over the many, many years, and also my sister was the treasurer. Corrine was the treasurer of the Seminole Nation for many years, and my older brother served as a Tallahassee Band representative as well. So as far as growing up, I've got more than roots here in Seminole County and within the Seminole Reservation. I grew up here, and I am a product of this area, and I know the community and our people well.
Tell us about your education and your experience.
I've studied. I first started studying there at Seminole, what is called Seminole State College today. It was Seminole Junior College at that time. I transferred to Haskell there in Lawrence, Kansas, and also studied in some what we call Ministry Training Institute with many, many hours of training in the area of ministry at the Oklahoma Baptist University. So those three areas was where the bulk of my education came from. But I served about 20 years both in Florida and in Oklahoma in the area of museum work. So I did what we call fellowships, and also I did with the Smithsonian Institution. So had extensive training in those areas. Those particular areas gave me great opportunities for expanding not only knowledge of written history, besides the oral histories that's passed down to each and every one of our families, but it gave me an opportunity to go in depth into the treaties and the other areas that actually didn't realize then at the time when these things was being accumulated as far as my knowledge was concerned, but they have became very instrumental in the positions that I've held for the Seminole Nation over the many years.
What compelled you to become a candidate for this position?
You know, I was paid one of the most prestigious compliments that can be given by a band chief. I won't mention his name, but everyone would know him if I would mention him. He shared that I was born for this, but I can understand why he would say that, because I was born in the 60s and became a teenager in the late 70s and 80s, and therefore began to be compelled in and brought into special meetings of the gatherings of our people when it dealt with tribal affairs. At one time, most of the meetings used to happen at the homes, and I would drive my dad many times because he served on the tribal council during that period of time. And by the time that I eventually got on the tribal council, I was also serving with my dad. He was in a different band. Both my mom and dad are Seminole, and therefore I'm in a different band than my dad. So what compelled me to do this was there was a period of time, I think, when you're younger, that people say you ought to get involved, Chabon, and you know they're prepping you to one day take that forward step to do so. So back in 2013, there were several candidates that were running for office, and I knew that I had an accumulated, imparted wisdom and knowledge from my family and my relatives and my extended family within the community. And at that time, I believed that, I had the experience to be able to identify the needs of the people and a direction that the tribe could go. Throughout my period of time of serving in different capacities, I've served for over 6 principal chiefs of the Seminole Nation in some capacity, whether it be boards, commissions, committees, representation as far as a special witness before the federal courts. These types of things actually equip me, and I'd say even before that, I was being equipped for this position, and I believe that it has helped me to be able to have distance vision of not only what the tribe is presently going through and how we incrementally move forward into a better government, a better for the well-being of our people. I always say that we should position ourselves for progress to propel ourselves forward, and I believe that's exactly what I have been able to do in the different capacities that I served the Seminole Nation in. When I was a legislator or part of the governing body, a tribal council representative many years ago, there was a piece of legislation that we drafted, and then of course the Attorney General at that time would take it and put it into the legal language. But many of you will remember when there was what we would call a terminally ill provision within our judgment fund. Tomorrow is my birthday, actually, and I'm going to be 62 years old. And you that are Seminole realize that when you become 62, then you get that allocation from the judgment fund. But at one time, if there was a terminally ill clause within that judgment fund, that if you could get a medical doctor to sign off and have it endorsed by him because of a special need at that time or a terminal illness, that nobody knows our times when we're going to leave this walks of life, but the doctor would determine that it would be a struggle to make it to the age of 62. Well, we introduced a bill that actually allowed tribal members, if they could get that documentation from a medical doctor, then they would be eligible to receive that fund before obviously they may not make it to 62. And if they did, they would not receive it again after that. But the thing about that particular measure was it was something that was needed. And I think it's still needed today, because we have so many people that leave this walks of life, and they're high percentage blood Seminoles that can utilize that fund. So later on, about 2005, 2006, that bill was repealed. But as a band representative, I sponsored that. My sister and I worked both on it, and then we worked with the Attorney General at that time, presented it to the council, and it passed. So in the area of wherever you are serving within the Seminole Nation, whether it's on committees, boards, commissions, there's a certain perimeters of where by code or by law or by bylaws that you stay within. I was able to, during those periods of time, from the 1990s to the present day, stay within those zones, so to speak, stay in the lane. So many times people try to get into different lanes and they cross over into the areas of different branches and so forth. And really, our government is not structured that way. But I'm glad that I was born locally and raised locally, and also know our people in a personal way. So I can identify those types of things very easily. And I try to use the imparted wisdom and knowledge that has been given to me over the many years to be able to decipher and to do things that is appropriate for the Seminole Nation.